and welcome to a bonus episode of the OnStage Colorado podcast for July 21st. I'm Alex Miller.
And I'm Toni Tresca. And today we've got an interview that we did on location in Creede, Colorado, as a part of our coverage of the Creede Repertory Theatre summer stock season. Alex and I made the 5-hour trek down to Creede from the Denver metro area this past weekend, and we saw all 4 main stage shows as a part of the season, and we recorded the following interview with Creede Rep's artistic director, Emily Van Fleet, and company member, Noelia Antweiler.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've taken the show on the road, but it was a ton of fun to do this interview in person. Creed's 61st season started in June and runs all the way into September, so there's still plenty of time to get down there to see some shows in a really beautiful part of Colorado.
I think it actually even started a little earlier, like end of May and all the way through September. So it is quite a long season, one of the longer summer stock seasons in Colorado. But enough yapping. Let's get to that interview now with Emily and Noelia.
All right, we are here with Emily Van Fleet, artistic director at Creede Repertory Theatre, and special guest Noelia Antweiler and Little Henry. We can talk about that a little later. But it's his first performance, perhaps.
Yes, it is. It is. Yes.
So Noelia is pregnant. So that's the news. You would definitely see that if you were here. So thanks for coming on the OnStage Colorado podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, we're so excited.
Yeah, so we are here. It's about halfway through the summer repertory season. It's my first time out here in Creede, Colorado. It's been just lovely. We went on a walk up Main Street this morning to kind of take in the views and look at the local businesses and whatnot. For you guys, what have been the highlights of the summer season so far?
Well, for me, I just adore these shows. I think they speak so much to where we are right now as a society, but also in Creede and with the 150th anniversary of Colorado statehood, we have some shows that really honor that and honor everyday Americans. And I could not wish for a better company of performers and production folks and front of house folks. We have so many people here in Creede that work here seasonally, and they're all just delightful humans and really talented and great folks to work with. So I'm very pleased by all of that.
On my end, I'm just happy to be here. It is so beautiful. I have been to Creede before, but this is my first time working here, and I'm just loving the company. Everyone is so kind. The town is so unbelievably kind and generous. Within 2 weeks, they knew my coffee order at the local coffee shop. They knew that I liked salmon on my salad at the restaurant. I mean, everyone is so unbelievably friendly in the town and in the company. So it's just kind of been a dream come true to spend a summer here, getting to make great work while also being in this gorgeous place, so near to hiking trails and all the natural stuff.
We noticed that on our walk this morning. Everybody we passed stopped to say hello or good morning. And everybody here is so friendly and such a good mood and high spirits, which makes it does seem like it would be a good place to work for the summer.
Yes. Instead of like city traffic, affecting your commute, it's actually like just friendly people on the street that want to get to know you and chat with you about the plays, and it's really lovely. Everyone who is here and who works here becomes family instantly.
And very little vehicular traffic. It's really fun to walk around a town that's not just bursting with cars and SUVs and stuff. So, well, let's talk a little bit about the season. So the theme this season is all in a day's work. So we saw Working, the musical last night. So that one definitely fits into the theme. How did you arrive at that theme, and how do the 3 other shows fit into that?
Well, I think when we were planning the season, we were looking for titles, or at least a title that would honor Colorado's 150th anniversary and also the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, in a way that felt really authentic and that every single human could get behind. And that was a really hard challenge, just sort of given how divisive things are right now. And our education director, Jenny Harbour, had been pitching the musical Working to various artistic directors characters throughout her time with us. And she brought it up to me, and it felt like a really great fit for exactly that, to honor this year. And what's great about this production is we've licensed the localized version of the play, which means that a lot of the monologues in the show can be swapped out and replaced with monologues based on interviews from people in your local community. So you can really honor the people in your community that keep it moving forward every single day. And because the Creede community is so tight and so integrated and relies so heavily on each other to carry forward, we felt it was really special to be able to honor our community in that way, and therefore sort of honoring all Americans who in their own ways, participate in this society in a meaningful way. So that speaks to working. The other shows, I think, in their various ways speak to everyday people trying to get by and doing the good work, Spelling Bee is all about awkward middle schoolers and educators trying to navigate some really difficult emotions and some awkward developmental stages in a really high stakes environment. It speaks a lot to American meritocracy and the pressures that American society puts on all of us to be winners. For Sherlock Holmes, of course, all in a day's work is a direct quote. But that too is just the work of helping people and helping people, fulfilling a mission and honoring the work. I mean, I think Sherlock Holmes is all about the work. He isn't who he is without the work, and Watson being committed to Holmes in that way. And Fully Committed, I think, completely embodies this theme because it's one man doing a work of 100 people, right. Literally, and in a meta-theatrical way, one actor plays 40 odd characters throughout the course of one performance. So that's kind of how all the shows sort of fit into that bigger theme. But working certainly is the anchor piece in that.
Yeah, and with working, it was really interesting to see some really evocative Creede stories integrated into this piece, which I've seen several times before, not always the localized versions, like the miner's story or the fourth grade teacher sharing about her 7-person class that she was teaching here, or the local firefighter. Those are the kind of things that you just wouldn't get in another production of Working, and felt very true to this main street and the people who occupy the space here year round.
That's right. And all of the words from the local interviewees are used in the script. We don't rewrite anything at all. It's their words, it's their voice. And another great thing about the localized script is that even the pieces that are scripted, that are meant to stay from the original production, are flexible. There's a piece with a retiree, and that's scripted. It's not based on a local interview, but there are references to local restaurants in it because this version allows you to do that and really customize it for your region, your town.
So for you, Noelia, can you talk a little bit about the two shows that you're in, Spelling Bee and Moriarty? Who are you playing? What have these experiences been like?
In Spelling Bee, I play Logan Schwartzengrubenier is her name. She is my absolute favorite. She has a lateral lisp, which just adds to the, intensity of the show. She is an incredibly stressed out third grader. She's the youngest competitor. And she's facing, she has two dads who are very, very, very pressuring of her and have high expectations. So it's such a blast to play this kid who is just neurotic and stressed, and just the stress is seeping out of every pore in her. And it's an absolute blast. I mean, what I love about Spelling Bee is that each kid is neurotic and awkward and weird and wonderful. And each of them is celebrated and also poked fun at just a little, in the way that we all recognize the awkwardness that is middle school and later elementary school. So that's Spelling Bee. And then Moriarty, I have the wonderful task of getting to play a couple of different characters, mainly Irene Adler, who's kind of the woman that Sherlock Holmes always loved and loves, but additionally some pretty fun other ones, I get to play Mrs. Hudson, who of course is a Sherlock Holmes staple, and then Cartwright, who's like a little street urchin, and he's always my favorite. I was able to play a version of Cartwright in Baskerville last year.
I was about to say, I recognize this accent.
yes. Cartwright is forever my favorite. He's just a disgusting 14-year-old boy, and he's picking at his butt, and he's obsessed with changing bodies, and he's just a delight. But then Irene Adler is the main one, and she's just fierce and fun, and I love that she gets to go head-to-head with Sherlock and really challenge him and almost kind of bullies him in a way. Like, I'm not going to let you get away with this, which I love. It's such a nice way to play, and especially with Graham, who's playing Sherlock, it's such a nice, we get to go head-to-head throughout the show and develop this wonderful love through kind of mutual respect. And it's almost the enemies to lovers pipeline, but not quite, because they're attracted to each other from the beginning. But it's just... it's wonderful. I love putting on multiple different hats in a show. It's a lot of fun.
One thing I love about Ken Ludwig adaptations is that he writes his women in such an empowering way, that is often a twist from the original work that it was inspired by. And I think Irene is a great example of that. She's just so strong. And in so many ways, she's kind of leading the charge and doing the unseen work of solving this mystery and getting to the heart of it.
Yeah.
OnStage Colorado is sponsored by the Boulder Ensemble Theater Company, whose production of Witch runs at the Denver Savoy July 23rd through August 2nd and at the Boulder Dairy Center August 6th through 23rd. Jen Silverman's reworking of the 1621 drama The Witch of Edmonton is wickedly funny, surprisingly moving, and dangerously entertaining. Tickets at BETC.org. We're also brought to you by the Aurora Fox Arts Center, whose production of Violet runs June 5th through 28th. With a rich, genre-bending score, Violet is a contemporary musical that follows a young woman's transformative journey across the American South in search of healing, belonging, and self-acceptance. Tickets at aurorafoxartscenter.org. We're also sponsored by Theater Silco, presenting the musical $1 Million Quartet June 19th through August 2nd. Head up to Silverthorne for an unforgettable night of rock and roll history. $1 Million Quartet tells the story of the legendary recording session with Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Carl Perkins. Tickets at thesilco.org. OnStage Colorado is also supported by Candlelight in Johnstown, presenting Matilda the Musical, June 25th through August 30th. Inspired by Roald Dahl, the show celebrates imagination, childhood, and one extraordinary girl's quest for a better life. Tickets at coloradocandlelight.com. So for Spelling Bee, it's often it's adults cast as children. Have you done a role like that before? And what's it like playing a kid?
I don't think I have played a kid before. I mean, I've played Cartwright before, but like playing an actual child, no, I haven't. And it's a blast. We were so lucky. Our company manager, Bethany, has 2 young daughters, and one of them came to rehearsal, and she is 8, and my character is 8. And getting to watch this little kid just kind of and she's the best kid. She's so bright and so warm. And then getting to watch her just fidget and get what she would laugh at, observe what you're laughing at, what you're not laughing at. Additionally, I was a nanny for many years and went back to New York City right before this contract started and was with the kids that I used to nanny who are now in this age, and just, oh, that makes you laugh. Oh, that doesn't make you laugh anymore. Oh, you're anxious about this. Oh, that really matters to you. Oh, that doesn't matter to you. All these little things. It's just kids are so wonderfully intense about what they want and what they need. And most times they're still too young to have the social graces to really edit themselves in the way that adults do. And so it's just so nice to kind of go off to instinct and go off, well, this is what I'm supposed to do, but this is what I really feel that's bursting out of my chest. I don't know. What do you think about kiddos? And
there were a lot of conversations in casting about how to find adults who can authentically play young people. And I think there are a lot of productions out there, or the impetus might be to comment on the awkwardness or clown it up a little bit, and from an adult lens, kind of play these characters in a way that's meant to be judged or funny in that way. And one of the things that I really emphasized in casting to our actors who are auditioning was, we're looking for authenticity. We're not looking for you to try to be young. Alex Steinhorn, our incredible music director, was looking for a very specific straight tone in the way folks approach the music. And one thing about Noelia that I just adore as a performer, she's just so vulnerable, and she's so able to access emotion so easily, and they're just right there, and she's so present. And that was really, really powerful in her audition for Schwartzy, because there are some really vulnerable moments, and we didn't shy away from those. I think part of what makes these kids so lovable is their authenticity and their vulnerability, and you're able to laugh at them and love them at the same time, laugh with them, and also feel for them and cry with them. And every single one of our performers in this show really brings that, and it deepens the experience, I think, so much.
What was the documentary you had us watch? What was the name of it?
Oh my gosh.
Emily had us watch this incredible documentary at the beginning of the rehearsal process.
Because Emily is directing Spelling Bee.
Yes,
I don't think we've said that on mic, but just for our listeners.
Yes. So Emily, our director, also artistic director, had us watch this amazing documentary about the Scripps National Spelling Bee. I think in 2001 it was made-ish.
Yes.
And it was so fun to watch this documentary that follows kind of these 10 kids and to say, that's my kid, or, that kid is in the cast, or that kid is not in the cast, but I know that kid. It's a really high pressure situation for these just little guys.
It's called Spellbound, and it was released in 2002, and it was so great. Our dramaturg found it and turned me on to it, and I just there were so many of these students that I think were inspired, or at least our Spelling Bee students were inspired by this film, and it was I'm so grateful for that. And it was a really excellent glimpse into the high pressure situation of the Scripps National Spelling Bee and these very young people navigating so many challenges.
So for Emily, this is your second season at Creede. What's been your experience like so far? I know you're also currently acting as managing director at the moment. How's that going?
It's good. I when I joined the staff as artistic director in 2004, that's exactly what I stepped into, is the role of artistic director. So leading the sort of programming and the artistic vision and casting and choosing shows and all of that. And then about a year in, I also took on the managing hat, which is a lot of spreadsheets and operations and things. And, I didn't come in with a ton of skills or education in that area, but I've educated myself a great deal, in part just through the work, but also I've been pursuing a graduate certificate in arts management. And, my dad, Philip Sneed, ended up doing the same thing, sort of like taking on the numbers piece and the operations piece. And
Philip Sneed, who just retired from the Arvada Center.
Yes, he just retired from the Arvada Center as president and CEO. And I've looked up to him since I was a child. And I think that some of that love of the puzzle of the numbers and how everything works together rubbed off on me somehow, or was passed down, because I've actually really enjoyed that piece too. And I get to exercise very different parts of my brain. 1 minute I'm puzzling with the numbers and noodling on some things, and then the next minute I'm in a music rehearsal, and it's challenging in a way that I didn't expect, and I'm constantly surprised and delighted by it all.
Definitely gives you an opportunity to use both sides of the brain.
Yes, indeed.
So do you live here full time?
I do. Yes. I own a home here now. My 5-year-old is in school here in Creede at the Early Learning Center. And and we planted roots and we build fires in the winter to stay warm, and it's nice and quiet. And I live here now. I still make it up to Denver pretty frequently because we have family and tons of friends there. But I'm based in Creede now.
But it's a absolutely full-time, year-long job,
Yes.
planning it. And so I want to ask a little bit about what's the process of finding the actors, and the rehearsals, auditions, and you cast nationally, right?
That's right. We start season planning around this time. So right now we're thinking about titles, and then once we get all that solidified and our season is announced around October, November, we will have EPAs in a couple of different cities. Last year we went to Denver and Chicago. We also accept video submissions, so we receive, I think last year was 800 videos. So we screen all of them in December, and all of our auditions, like initial round, happens before the end of the year, and then starting in January we start soliciting callback videos from folks, and hopefully we have everything kind of buttoned up by March for folks to arrive in May to start rehearsals.
And so for you, Noelia, what attracted you to auditioning for Creede?
I have wanted to work here for quite a while, actually. I really love this theater, and, word travels fast amongst the acting community if a place is a good place to work or a not so great place to work. And this has continually been on the list of like, oh my gosh, if you get the chance, you have to work at Creede. It's just, it's a really, really special place. And now that I'm here, I can say that with my whole heart. It is a very, very special place to work. And so, I reached out to Emily and I said I'd love to audition, and luckily she knew my work, so she was very kind and said, we don't need you to do a pre-screen. We'll just call you back, which was lovely because I personally hate doing just a monologue and a song. So that was a really nice step, to jump over. And then, they called me back for the track that I'm in. They gave me, some scenes and some, songs, and did it, sent a video, and then got an offer at some point after that, and that was that.
So you've done repertory work at like the Colorado Shakespeare Festival before. As an actor, what is the difference like? How do you prepare for taking on, like here, multiple roles that you switch between versus when you're just in a one-off show focused on one character?
Being in repertory is my favorite thing as an actor. It is the most rewarding. It's the most giving. You are working multiple parts of your actor brain, which is just a delightful gift. I mean, we all want to be the fullest version of whatever we have passions about. And so doing repertory is very, very exciting. A lot of times people will say, like, well, how do you keep them straight? How do you keep the role straight? And really, it's not. I akin it to, can you watch 2 TV shows and keep the plots in your head at the same time? Can you read 2 books at the same time? Yes, multiple people do this. And so once you're in the room, the circumstances, the world that you've built just happen. And it also, the work is never boring, but sometimes when you're doing a long run, there's a trap in it becoming rote, or it becoming just, this is routine, this is what we do. And doing repertory and having to switch continuously never lets it be that. And especially actually, spelling bee in particular, because we have some audience volunteers, there's this surprise element that just makes the show so vastly different every night, which is a wonderful, wonderful gift to those of us who are living and breathing on stage.
So to the both of you, do you guys get out much in Creede during the summer season? What's life like on the main street?
I think we would have very different answers to that maybe question. I do my best to get out in the summer, but I spend a lot of time at my desk and in various theater spaces. And it's all wonderful. I love everything about it. I'm also meeting with a lot of patrons and donors and people that are super fans of CRT that are only here in the summer. So I do my best to take those people out of my office and onto the streets. So I've gotten to try a couple of great restaurants. There's some new places in town. There's some great shops and things, but I never get out as much as I want to in the summer. And that is the prime time because everything's open and bumping.
Yeah.
Noelia, what about you?
My main thing that I've been doing is hiking. I'm hiking like 3 to 4 times a week. It's a huge passion of mine anyway. And so getting to be out and hike so much is wonderful. Now, when we were rehearsing, I didn't get out so much because it was about learning lines and music and prepping and everything. But now that everything is open, obviously I'm pregnant, so I'm not going out with the 20-year-olds. But I did hear them singing karaoke from my window last night, which brought me joy. I heard
What were they singing?
I heard a version of Zombie and My Heart Will Go On. It was pretty great. But I don't know. I'm a very social person. I love to be out and about. So whether that's hiking or whether that's going for a coffee or a meal, I also like to eat. So, being out, eating, drinking non-alcoholic beverages.
Emily, so we talked about the 4 main shows. Can you talk about some of the other programs that go on here in Creede?
Yes. This is our 20th year of our Boomtown Improv comedy show, which is it's a long-form improv show that our former artistic director, Jessica Jackson, started. And it is on Sundays at 7 p.m. It's musical improv. So our music director, Alec, provides all of the musical stylings, and Clark Jones is in that as well, and a lot of our musical theater friends, Julian and Maya. So there's a lot of fun music, a lot of great energy this year, some returning Boomtown veterans, and then some new folks. It's always a really popular show amongst our local audiences because in the past it's either been late at night or on a Sunday night when a lot of the local businesses are closed. So it has become a really big favorite among our local community and our visiting patrons. We have incredible education programming here at CRT. This is our 24th year of our kids show program, and they're actually going into tech next week, and it's a fully supported CRT production, but with students, and a lot of them are local students, and it provides theatrical programming and education for folks who especially in Creede, who just don't get to have that kind of opportunity as much. And this year they're doing a puppet show with we're partnering with Dragoncio Puppet Troupe, and the folks at Dragoncio are helping the students devise, create, and build their original puppet shows. So that will be next week, July 24th, 25th, and 26th. We have our Young Audience Outreach Tour, which is a new musical every year. It's bilingual, English and Spanish, and it tours across the Southwest in the fall. So that will start rehearsals in a few weeks. And this year it's called Dale, 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 about a boy who's celebrating his birthday, and he's getting a piñata, and the piñata comes to life. And it's about facing your fears because a piñata doesn't really understand what his purpose is, and it's really cute. And it travels to a lot of rural areas, a lot of areas that sort of underserved communities that don't get theater programming. So that's a really exciting program. We finished at camps in June. Gosh, we have so much going on. It's hard to keep track of everything, but I think that kind of covers most of what we've got going on. In some years we'll have special events and concerts and various things, but that's kind of, I think that's the gist of what we've got going on this year.
What about the New Play Festival?
Yeah, so our Headwaters New Play program encompasses a lot of new work that we do throughout the season. So oftentimes that's Kids Show. It's the Young Audience Outreach Tour, which is a new play. last year, we commissioned a piece by the Dragonseal Puppet Troupe, who created an all-ages puppet show. It was actually it was a play with live actors and storytellers with 3 different puppet shows within that framework, which was really incredible. We had a reading of that last year. We've migrated our Headwaters program from a submission-based program to a commission, and so the process of finding a commission is ongoing. And this year we don't have a commission for a reading, but we are premiering our Young Audience Outreach Tour at the Headwaters weekend. So we're always committed to new play development in all its various forms.
You may not know the answer to this, but one of the last times I saw you in the metro area was at Creede USA, this documentary screening of an excellent film that kind of takes people inside this town. Do you have any information on when that's going to be released to a more wide audience? I would love more people to be able to see it.
I want to see it.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay.
I wish I could tell you. It's definitely made the festival circuit. It continues to be screened at festivals. I know the film producers are working towards distribution, particularly in schools, because I think that they would really like to see it, screened for young people and educators, particularly because some of the subject matter relates to the Creede school. But beyond that, I don't really know. But I know a lot of folks are asking, and we aren't sure. Our fingers are crossed, but we don't know yet.
We'll definitely publicize it when it comes out.
Yeah.
So, Noelia, one of the questions I usually ask actors at the end of these interviews is, "What's next?" But your baby's due in November, so that kind of throws a wrinkle in things. So what's next?
Well, actually, I do know what's next, which is pretty crazy. So this is my last project before baby comes, which is great, and then I'm taking a couple months off, but then I will be back at BETC in March doing Liberation, which I'm very, very excited about. That show, I saw it on Broadway, and it was amazing, and I'm so delighted to get to do that Pulitzer Prize-winning show.
All right.
Fun fact about Liberation, a CRT alum, Charlie Thurston, was in the Broadway production of that. Yeah. He was an actor in our company years and years ago. He and his wife, Becky Gibble, met here, got married here, and he was he's an excellent playwright, and he writes a ton of plays for Trinity Rep now, but he wrote the play for us, I can't remember what year it was, called The History Room, 2016, I think, starring Christy Brandt.
Very cool.
I know, it's a small world, and there are CRT alums all over the place. They're everywhere.
Yeah, very true. I mean, just randomly, this guy who I did a show with in New York like 10 years ago was a company member here back in the 60s. And so he was just up here. I mean, he played my dad in this show 10 years ago, this wonderful guy, John Engel. And he randomly was here because he was like, "Oh, you're here. I have friends, whatever." And so I was like, "Oh my gosh," it's really incredible. Yeah.
Wow. Network extends far and wide.
Yeah.
So for folks like us who have traveled here to Creede, what are some of the key things that you would recommend, in addition to obviously going to see Creede Rep, around town that folks have to see as a part of their experience here at Creede?
Hiking for sure. There are a couple things that I adore. There's and it's kind of new, or at least new to me. It's this rail biking adventure that is it starts in South Fork, which is a town just like 23 miles from here, and you get on this rail bike on the old railroad that used to go between South Fork and Creede, and you pedal your way up the canyon.
Oh, wow.
And it's gorgeous. I drive that canyon drive like all the time, thousands of times, and this is like a completely different view. I did it with my family earlier this year. That's super fun. And there is like a ride the rails kind of partnership with CRT, where you can do a ride and then come see a show. The Creede Hotel and Restaurant, which is right next door to us, has excellent cuisine. I adore it. I adore it so much. And they're a great place to go before the show, grab a nice dinner, and then go next door and see the show.
They look like they had great outdoor seating, too, with a really cool sculpture out there,
They
too.
do.
Yeah. I would also add, if you have a vehicle that can handle it, you need like higher clearance, but driving Bachelor Loop is really, really gorgeous. It's just, a really, really nice drive. Obviously, the hiking is fantastic. And I think the mining museum is really fun.
Yeah.
I just think it's really
The
fun.
Underground Mining Museum is really, really fun. And it's also our community center. So they've been sponsoring a lot of our productions this year, working and Boomtown because of the local connection. And
Right.
they're great partners.
Yeah, we poked our heads in there this morning. It's built into the side of a mountain. It's pretty cool. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, I'm not a fly fisher, but if you are a fly fisher, the fly fishing here is amazing.
Yeah.
It's got to be one of the only places that the coffee shop in town is you can also get fly fishing equipment at.
Yes. Coffee on the fly. We love
Yeah.
coffee on the fly. And just to say, there were, Creede Repertory Theatre is a very well-established arts organization in Creede, but there are other arts organizations that are so incredible and bring so much culture and vibrancy to this town. Creede Musical Arts Collective, the Creede Arts Center, Steve Quiller, if you've ever been into Steve's gallery, it's just gorgeous, gorgeous work. He's a world-renowned watercolorist, and his daughter, Allie Quiller, is leading programming for the Creede Arts Center and offering a ton of courses for adults and kids. And it's really special to be in a town this small and this remote and have this much arts programming available. It's a real blessing.
That's great. All right. Well, Emily Van Fleet, Noelia Antweiler, thanks so much for being on the OnStage Colorado podcast. Noelia, you're a repeat visitor.
Thank you for having me
Friend
again.
of the pod. Yeah, but Emily, great to see you as
You
well.
too.
And
Thanks so
this
much.
is, I think this is the first, remote pod we've done.
The first pod on the road, and something we've been talking about for like months now, because we've been talking about doing this since the New Play Summit. When I
That's
saw you,
right.
Emily, there. We chatted about doing this, and now it's a reality. Here it is.
We're honored to be the first road pod.
Heck yes.
All right. Well, break legs out there, and we look forward to seeing the rest of the shows.
Thanks. Enjoy.
Well, that was just an absolute treat to get to chat with Emily and Noelia in our Airbnb in Colorado.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what did you think, Alex, of the 61st Creede summer season overall?
Well, we saw 4 shows. We didn't stick around for the Boomtown Improv show on Sunday night, but we saw Moriarty and Fully Committed, 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, and Working the Musical. And I'd say that, we really enjoyed Spelling Bee and Fully Committed. Were both really, really funny shows. And of course, they start out with, they just have great scripts. I think we felt like Moriarty wasn't maybe Ken Ludwig's greatest script, although, done perfectly.
Certainly not even
fine.
his, I would say not even his best mystery script, like Murder on the Orient Express, his adaptation of that, or even Baskerville, another Sherlock mystery, are stronger, funnier mysteries. But yeah, this one, I think, I think you were about to say, this one succeeds. It's being kind of a very fun summer entertainment.
Yeah. And then we were a little mixed on Working. It had a lot of really cool elements. It didn't hit me as well as I think you did, and my son Andy, who was also there, was not a huge fan, but it really did have a lot of cool things in it, particularly the local elements of the Creede community that were built into the show.
Yeah, Emily talked a little bit about that localized adaptation in our interview, and that was probably the coolest part about this production, was just hearing those stories from the Creede workers. However, the musical itself, like you're saying, leaves a lot to be desired. It is just about 95 minutes of narrative kind of going through just stories mixed with some songs. And it's not the most compelling dramatic arc, but the stories that they're telling, and I think the appreciation that it's attempting to foster for the local communities, the local community members and service workers who live and work in Creede, I think is really important. And I understand why it's a part of this season.
Yeah, and one of the cool things about seeing a couple of shows in repertory is that you'll see one actor in one show and think, oh, I don't know, how well that person did there, and then you see him in another show and like, oh, that's definitely a better role in a better show, and they, really, you can really see the stark differences.
Absolutely, yeah. It was also just fun since Creede is such a small town. You would be walking around like on your way to and from the restaurants and the communities, and you would be bumping into the actors who you had just seen on stage earlier that day.
Yeah. So speaking of Creede, what was your overall take as your first trip down there, Toni? How did you like it, and what were your takeaways?
It's in a very rural location. But absolutely scenic, nestled in these beautiful, like very edgy, spiky kind of cliffs up at the top. But what was the word you used to describe it?
A box canyon. Yeah.
Oh, no, the formation at the top. You had such a lovely word when we were there.
Craggy?
Craggly. That's craggy. The one. Yes.
Yes.
Looking cliffs, and everybody in Creede, as I think we said in the interview, really was just so nice. It took a little longer to get around town just because, like, as you're walking, you really do have to kind of stop and say hello to everybody. It was funny to see a lot of the Creede locals. They just would camp out on their porches and sit there all day. So you'd pass by the same people sitting out there, and I mean, we did a little porch sitting ourselves, and I would say that was one of the highlights. It's a very fun spot to do some people watching.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, we were fortunate that we had an Airbnb right on Main Street there, so we did some of that as well, and of course, there's lots of hiking, and if you're into fishing, and there's also a lot of motorsports going around, which, in my view, they're a little obnoxious, but, that's part of the scene in a lot of mountain towns. There's Jeeps and these OHVs and all that stuff going on.
Yeah, I think one of the things that did kind of surprise me was just how they're limited the options were. There really are only a couple of things in town. I wasn't quite prepared for how small Creede was. There is like one coffee shop that is also, they sell fishing equipment in the
coffee
right
on
next
the fly.
door. Coffee on the fly, that's right. And they've got just a couple of local restaurants in town. And some cute little shops, but it really is just that one little main street and just about 2 or 3 blocks that are really populated with businesses. And apparently, from talking with some company members who had been in with Creede for over 50 years, this is a lot more populated than it's ever been before in its history. Like this is busy Creede. This
Boomtown.
is Creede that is booming. Exactly. Yeah. We were talking with Kathy was her name. Kathy.
I don't remember her last name, but yeah.
I believe was her name. She had been a company member for over 50 years, and I asked her just how much the town had changed, and she was like, it doesn't even look anything like it was when the theater was first getting started here. It really has all grown up around here, and but even still, I guess I should have been prepared. It's a town of just a little under 300 people, so really not big at all, and Main Street reflects that.
Yep. Yeah, that's the permanent residence. There's certainly a lot more there in the summertime, and it's a hopping little place. I think we kind of had mixed experience with the restaurants. We were definitely disappointed in some of the local IPAs because Toni and I are both IPA fans. So if you get a chance, maybe get something that's in a can than in the local draft. But I don't know, could be your thing if you like weird tasting IPAs.
Definitely. One thing I do want to shout out about Creede that I really enjoyed was they had popcorn sold at every performance. Freshly popped popcorn that you could bring in. As a popcorn aficionado and just huge lover of eating things eating salty things while I watch a show, I really enjoyed being able to have that, and it tasted delicious.
And I think you said it was only $4, right?
It was only $4, and it was a very generous portion. That's for the small. They also had a massive large option. I was like, I think that's too much for me. I'll take that $4 small one.
So the other thing is great if you're coming down from the Denver area like we did, is it's just a beautiful drive, mostly on 285, and you get to see a lot of 14ers along the way, and a lot of other really nice parts of Colorado. A lot of old rail lines along there, along the river by Creede and South Fork, and they've got there's more activity happening on those. Like they have some sort of bicycle that you can ride that connects to the rail track or something that someone was telling us about.
Yeah, Emily mentioned that in the interview, talking about that cart riding, the pedal cars that you could do around the canyon. That's definitely on my bucket list. I'd like to do that when I come back to see more shows at Creede, because I definitely would say I would overall recommend the experience. It's a really scenic location to check out some theater. All the locals are very happy to have folks. It's not like some tourist towns where they're like, "Grr, get out of here, you dirty summer folk." They're very welcoming and accommodating and happy to see people populating the streets. The theater, it's a little bit broader, I would say, in terms of their sensibility. They're programming for a general audience, but the shows they're doing and at the level they're producing, particularly at 9,000 feet? They kept saying theater at 9,000 feet. It's quite impressive.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will be back next month in August for our regular monthly show. But since we were down in Creede, we thought it'd be a fun thing to do to talk to Emily and Noelia while we were down there. So I think it worked out well.
Yeah, absolutely. In the meantime, we are going to be out at a lot of different theaters, seeing a bunch of different stuff. If you want to keep up with what we're doing before our next podcast episode, I'd recommend you head over to onstagecolorado.com, where you can check out all of our latest reviews and news that we've got there. But until then, we will see you at the show.
All right. Hey, it's Alex here, founder, editor, and publisher of OnStage Colorado. Thanks so much for listening. As other publications have stepped away from covering Colorado theater, we've stepped up. In 2025 alone, we published over 165 reviews, making sure our vibrant theater community in Colorado gets the attention it deserves. But we can't do this without your support. If you value having a dedicated source for Colorado theater journalism, please consider making a donation at onstagecolorado.com. Every contribution helps us continue this work. And if you're not already subscribed, sign up for our free weekly Theater Blast newsletter. Every Thursday morning, we deliver the latest reviews, theater news, and upcoming show listings right to your inbox. You'll find the sign up at onstagecolorado.com. Thanks again for being part of the OnStage Colorado community. We'll see you at the theater.